right, riders and learners, welcome back. Mercs Moto here. So today we're talking a little bit about chain cleaning. Something that can be kind of cool, also something that can be kind of frustrating. So, I've had my own little journey with this chain cleaning thing, especially not having a garage. Not having a garage really just kind of changes the game in regards to uh, maintenance and upkeep of just about anything you have that is, uh, whether it's some sort of machinery, motorcycle, car, your own little bike, anything you have, it's a little bit troublesome without a garage. So here's the apartment version of how to clean your chain. So one of the key things you saw in the opening shot is the importance of a paddock stand, a rear paddock stand, um, just so that you can get that bike level, so that it's uh, street level in a way that it looks like you're in a riding position, but also so that you can really mainly get that back tire raised up off the ground. So that's one of the first things you're definitely going to need. And then after that, it's pretty smooth sailing from there. But there is some trial and error that I did encounter going into my first couple times doing this. And this is actually showing you one of my first couple times. So products to use, there's a whole bunch of products that you can use for cleaning and for lubing, for greasing, I should say. I should not say lubing, but for greasing. So we'll actually get to that a little bit at the end of the video to talk about that. But one of the first things you need to do, other than raising up the bike, is using an Allen key to remove the chain guard. So everyone's chain guard's a little different, and everyone's chain's a little different. There's also belt chains. So this is in regards to a metal chain, and I believe I actually have to go back and check the type of chain it is. But this is a metal chain, not a belt chain. That takes just different maintenance. So once you remove the chain guard, which you'll need an Allen key. I think it may be 3 millimeter, but I'll put that down in the description. Which particular chain Allen key wrench you'll need to remove the chain guard. But after that, you'll have more access to the chain. You won't have to try and finagle how to get to the chain once you take that off. So one of my issues actually was the big, fat exhaust pipes on the Triumph Street Twin. So as you know, if you've looked at the channel, I have a it is brand new Triumph Street Twin 2022. It's great, but with the Triumph, there are some issues. I've talked about the Euro 5 issues, but outside of that, as you can see, those pipes are annoying, without a doubt. So one of the many reasons why I'll be changing them out, and you'll see that in future videos. But it makes it a little harder to get to the chain. So there are ways to work around that. You'll see that as we continue to go through the video. But one of the main things I do want to talk about is the avoidance of getting any type of lubricant on the brakes or the tires. So what I first did was that I used cardboard. I'm always trying to reuse materials instead of buying new things and new contraptions that people are making out there. And so what I wanted to do is try and use as many older materials to recycle as possible. So what I initially used was cardboard to put it behind the chain. That worked out well, but at this time, when I did this, either my second or third time, I ended up using some recycled paper. That didn't work as well because it got caught up in the wheel. So don't do that. It worked. It protected the wheel somewhat, but I would say don't use that. So make sure you use some sort of cardboard or something else that's flat. In the prior shot, what you want to do, you don't want to get too close to the chain, but you do want to use the cleaner to do the initial cleaning. Leave that on for a few minutes, right? You want to get the chain, but you also want to get the sprocket as well, because that's just as equally as dirty as the chain by itself. After a few minutes, you want to put on that brush that you see there, and you really want to use all three areas of the brush. So the brush has 3 different sides, right? You want to get the top of the chain by pressing down on the brush, the side of the chain, right? So that would be the right side by pushing forward, and then the bottom of the chain as well, and then push the brush further up to clean it. All right. You also want to try and get it's a little bit more challenging, but you do want to try and get the other side, the left side of the chain as well. So that may take some finagling. All right, maybe going underneath the motorcycle to get that left side. Once you do that, right, it's relatively clean, muck off, motul, whatever you decide to use. It's going to slowly drip off, and you want to wipe off the excess. Now, they do also talk about just getting some water and rinsing it. That's one of the issues with living in an apartment. I mean, you may want to, get a big bowl, bucket, get some water, rinse it off, but, that may not always be feasible. So it can take off a lot of that gunk over time if you leave it for a few minutes to drip off, and then use a shop rag to clean it off, get that excess off. After that, you also want to then start greasing it. So a lot of these companies that make the grease has a little extension. So you can use that extension to, have very accurate sprays. Again, you don't want that grease to get on the tire or the back or the brakes. Okay. So as you do this, you want to make sure you grease it for a little bit. You don't need to grease it for that long. And then wipe it completely in regards to the excess, because there probably will be some excess. After that, you're kind of done. All right, you want to put back on which is what I'm doing here, putting back on the sprocket. All right, not the sprocket. What am I saying? I'm sorry, folks. Put back on the chain guard, and then you're kind of smooth sailing. You're more or less done. And if you did get anything on the back wheel, you can easily just wipe it off. You may want to take some degreaser and just wipe off that back wheel if you got a little bit on it. But it's really not the end of the world. But just make sure you don't get a whole lot, or you'll be slipping and sliding, and your rear brakes may not work as efficiently as they may usually do. So that's kind of it. Degreasing the chain, and having full maintenance, checking the length. I'll talk about that in a later video as well. But I'm hearing every 200 miles. So that's kind of what I do. Sometimes I extend it to 300, 400. It also may depend on the type of weather you're in. If you're in a lot of mud, a lot of dirt, a lot of grime, something to consider as you're thinking about your maintenance schedule for your bike. So I try and do 200 miles. If I'm, this upcoming weekend, I'm on a 500-mile ride. I'm not going to be able to check and do all of that during that time, but I'll be able to do that when I come back. So that's something to think about, if you're doing a long ride. So as I end the video, just letting you know, make sure to actually comment if you have any questions, or I'm new to this YouTube thing, also relatively new to the bike. Any interests, any suggestions, I'm always open to have. So that was my phone. Definitely forgot to put that on Do Not Disturb. Yikes. But make sure that you comment, subscribe. I'm trying to get some nice videos. The sun and the weather, it's beautiful right now. North Carolina is beautiful. I'm going to be popping out videos as the summer starts coming out. All different types, vlogs, scenic, partnerships with local businesses and whatnot. So it's not going to just be maintenance. So as I clean up my shop area and my phone goes off yet again, hope you all really enjoyed this. Again, hit up the like button so the algorithm can do whatever the hell it does, and subscribe so that, you can see some more of Merck's Moto. So I hope you all have a great day. Go clean your bike, all right? And that chain, and don't make too much of a mess, like I did, as you can see here. Apartment living, folks. Apartment living. Merck's Moto, we're out.